Hi, welcome back to another video, and today I'm going to be talking about Eric Adams' administration falling apart after receiving resignation after resignation. Today, Eric Adams' deputy mayor has officially resigned, being reported by ABC News after her house was searched, her electronics were taken, and now his deputy mayor has resigned, along all these federal investigations happening into Eric Adams and his entire administration. There have been several other people who have resigned that are below his deputy mayor and Adams himself, but now we have seen his deputy mayor officially resign. Now, this will probably give more calls for Eric Adams to resign as New York City mayor. There have been a lot of talks if Eric Adams resigns, and if he does, there will be a lot of people in New York politics who will probably want to run for mayor, as there will probably be a special election. Now, remember, Eric Adams is up for re-election next year in 2025 in the fall. It's about a year from now, and if Eric Adams resigns, there's going to be this special election. Whoever wins that special election will be up for re-election next year, so they won't have time. There'll be a small amount of time for them to really form this new administration and to try and fix some of the damage that Eric Adams has caused or his administration is responsible for, and trying to get New Yorkers to trust the new mayor administration, and it'll be interesting to see how it plays out. Whoever wins the special election, if Eric Adams does resign, but as of today, Eric Adams, deputy mayor, has officially resigned, as you can see here, and according to this article, where was it? Yeah, her home was searched and electronics were confiscated last month by federal officials. Now, the deputy mayor has resigned after this has been happening, and this is after several other people in his administration has resigned, and it's not looking good for Eric Adams. And if you ask me, I believe that it's only a matter of time until Eric Adams himself has to resign as New York City mayor. I believe it's amazing he has gone this far without having to resign, as we did see 3 years ago when former New York Governor Andrew Cuomo was facing sexual assault allegations. He tried to fight them off. He was unsuccessful, and he was forced to resign after he was facing impeachment. Obviously, he was replaced by his lieutenant governor, who is now the governor, Governor Kathy Hochul, who now has been governor for over 3 years now. But uh, interesting enough, the Governor Kathy Hochul, has been very silent about this, and there have been reports of her thinking about, as she's the only one who can temporarily remove him, and she has thought about it, but she has not said anything about it, and she has not removed him yet. So I think she's just waiting to see how this all plays out, and then she'll make her move. There's also some interesting things that could happen here if Eric Adams does resign. As we're looking, so the New York Dems, like I said when I mentioned Andrew Cuomo, he is thinking about trying to make a comeback in New York politics if Eric Adams does resign, and he will most likely run for mayor if Eric Adams does resign. I don't think Andrew Cuomo could win another race for the governorship, so he's looking at this mayor race saying, this is a Democratic stronghold. Maybe I could win this. Maybe it's possible. And New York Dems are not really that happy for Eric Adams to come back. As you see, the Democrats are not ready for Eric Adams to be out of the political wilderness, and they want him to continue to stay out of politics. You're a very controversial figure. We need you to stay back. There were some thoughts in 2022. Andrew Cuomo could run for the governorship, although the election took place only a year after all those allegations came out and he resigned. But we saw he did not run for the governorship, and he's been very quiet about what he wants to do. He's been on some interviews. I've seen him on some interviews, but really, he has hinted that he would really like to run for mayor. He would really like to run for mayor, and that him winning mayor, I don't know if he'd win. I know there'd be a lot of New Yorkers that probably don't want him back, or maybe there's some New Yorkers that do want him back. There's probably some New Yorkers that disapprove of how Kathy Hochul's doing, say, maybe we were doing better under Cuomo. Cuomo was governor for 11 years, and he was forced to resign. Some people are like, oh, it's a political hit job, or Cuomo was just really corrupt. But looking at this now, New York Democrats are not really that eager to put Cuomo back into New York politics, and so if Cuomo runs, they are talking about, which I actually just read here. I quickly read this before I recorded, and apparently the New York Dem leadership are privately encouraging State Attorney General Tish James, who helped run Cuomo out of office 3 years ago, to mount a bid for mayor if Eric Adams stepped down. Now, for context, Tish James was the one who made light of the sexual allegations 3 years ago into Andrew Cuomo, and it was eventually what helped grow those calls for resignations from several Democrats, from Republicans, but mostly Democrats. They wanted him out. They want him gone. And there was a press conference that President Biden did 3 years ago, and I remember a reporter asking him if he thought Andrew Cuomo should resign, and Biden said, yes, I think he should resign, be the right thing to do. And Andrew Cuomo ended up resigning. I believe it was like a week later or something, and he was out of office by like the end of the summer. So now we are looking at Eric Adams possibly stepping down. I think he will do it. I think it's inevitable, and I think it's going to happen. But if it does, a mayor run will be very interesting. The New York Dems or the leadership of the New York Democratic Party do not want Cuomo back, and they want to run Tish James to possibly, as it says here, could box out Cuomo. She could box out Cuomo. They think she'll, be kind of support from the black voters. She'll get support from the black voters, take it away from Cuomo, possibly win the New York governorship, and possibly be Eric Adams' successor. Now, none of this is happening. We don't know if Tish James is possibly considering running, but if she is, uh, and Eric Adams resigns and she announces a run, I think it's possible she could be Cuomo if Cuomo also announces his run for the mayorship. But none of that had happened yet. Eric Adams is still mayor. He has not resigned, but I still think he will. It's just only a matter of time. And yeah, I really think it's only a matter of time until Eric Adams resigns here. And there's some also interesting news that I saw. Where was it? It was this news just dropped about earlier today. Uh, this really caught my eye. A former 18 New York City, Eric Adams, is charged with destroying evidence as top deputy quits. So this is more bad news for Eric Adams and his administration, as a former aide to Eric Adams is now charged with destroying evidence and witness tampering uh, within a federal investigation, as you can see there, that led to Eric Adams' bribery indictment. So there's more bad news for Eric Adams, more bad news for his administration, and it's why I believe after this news about his top deputy resigning, or his deputy mayor resigning, this new former aide that's been arrested for messing with the evidence, trying to destroy the evidence. I think both these stories that are dropping today, I do believe now these will start more calls for Eric Adams to resign as mayor. Will he do it? I don't think so. It's probably going to take a conviction, as we saw with the New Jersey senator who he was indicted last year, and he was convicted about a couple months ago, and he finally resigned. And there's actually a Senate race to fill in his seat. I don't know who's in his seat now. I remember they would have appointed, but anyways. So yeah, I do think Adams would resign. I think it's a matter of time. And if Andrew Cuomo runs and Tish James runs, I obviously can't make a prediction now. I can't say, oh, I know who's gonna win this. It's hard to tell. And usually, no matter what, in a mayor election, the Democrats will win, which will why be there will be a lot more candidates in the Dem primary than the Republican primary, because everybody knows New York City is a Democrat stronghold, just like Chicago, just like some of these other places, Atlanta. There's some cities in California I could probably mention, but everybody knows that New York City is a stronghold. They help Democrats win and keep New York, in their to win elections. And so, if there's a mayor election, most likely the Democrat primary will be more noticed by the Republican Party primary, because everyone knows, if a Democrat wins the primary, they basically already won the election. Republicans really have no chance in New York City. So it'll be interesting to watch, who runs. If it's Tish James, it's Andrew Cuomo. Andrew Yang looks like an interesting one. He ran last time. He could run again. So we'll see what happens. And yeah, it'll be very interesting to see. If anything else happens, I'll let you guys know. And I'll see you guys in the next video.